We're going to start our workout with a split squat. So for this, you're going to want to bench or a chair. This is a great exercise for your quads, your hamstrings, and your glutes. So you're going to take your leg that we're starting with. I'm going to start with my right leg. You're going to put it out straight in front of you. That gives you the right distance from the seat to where your foot is. Then from here, you're going to stand up, put the other foot up on the bench or chair. And then from here, we're going to bend your front leg, going down, all the way down to a full bend, and then back up, trying for about 10 reps each side. So I want my knee bending in the same direction my toe is pointed, and the other leg is just there for a little bit of balance. All of my weight is on my front leg. You should feel that right here in the top of your thigh. The more I bend that knee, the more quad tension I get, which is going to lead to more hypertrophy or muscle building in that leg. And then for the other side, same thing, seated down, foot out in front, stepping forward, and the other foot goes up on the bench. Now, if you need to, you can have something for support to help balance. And just take a second, we're gonna do 2 sets of these. So 10 on each leg. So today we're doing full body exercise, doing legs and upper body. And at the end, we're gonna specialize into some arm exercises for the biceps. Been really enjoying doing more specialized exercise for that, to where I'm seeing more growth in that bicep. If that's you, and you're looking for more growth in your bicep, hit that like button for me to let me know you want more of this type of content. Always, it takes more energy to do legs. That's why I like getting them out of the way first, so that I don't have to worry about doing legs at the end of a workout. So one more set of legs, and then we'll move on to upper body. I'm gonna take just a moment, let my heart rate come back down, then go back into working. One more set of split squats. I like split squats rather than standard squats because I feel like it's easier on my lower back while still getting a great hip and leg exercise. And that way I can make sure that both legs are getting evenly worked as well. All right, so this time I'm gonna start with my left leg, one leg out to the front, stepping up and bending that knee down, trying for 10 reps each side. Trying to keep my back straight. Really bending that knee. And same thing on the other side. One leg out to the front. Now I like this because it covers a lot of the major muscles in my legs all at once. So I can maintain that muscle health, because it's much easier to maintain your leg muscle than it is to try and build it back up later. And you do not want weak legs. You want a strong foundation for anything you're doing. So I think that's such an important thing to maintain good leg muscle health. Because easiest way to start feeling old is if your legs are weak, feel unstable, off balance. That's why I think it's so important to be doing leg exercises on a regular basis. All right, so I'm gonna shift this bench out of the way. So with those two sets, we've covered all of our leg exercises for today. It actually doesn't take that much to maintain that muscle health. So now, I'm gonna move on to some upper body exercises. So with this, I'm gonna grab 2 dumbbells. And we're going to go into a bench press with dumbbells, so dumbbell bench. Now I'm starting with slightly lighter dumbbells to warm up, then I'll move to heavier dumbbells after. Now there's a lot of different ways of doing this exercise. What I found best for me is feet on the ground, so that way I'm tensioning my chest by arching my back just a little bit. That helps build that tension in your chest and primes your body to have a solid foundation to work off of. From here, you're gonna bend your elbows, bringing your hands wide out to the side and back up. So that keeps tension on that chest the whole time by keeping those hands wide at shoulder width. So my elbows can move a little bit down to my sides if it's uncomfortable on my shoulder, but trying to keep those hands wide to really open up that chest. Trying for about 10 reps on this, warming up that joint, getting blood flow into the muscle. And then now, I'm gonna set down 1 dumbbell and work the muscles on the opposite side. So, doing a bench row. Now, I really like the bench row more than a double, like bent over row. Doing it one hand on the bench this way, because rather than stopping here, I can go all the way to that full range of motion for the lats. So that last couple inches down really makes a big difference. So for this, I'm gonna look up to keep my back straight as I can, reach down, grab the dumbbell, from here, pull up to my rib cage, and then all the way back down to just above the ground, and then back up. Doing 10 of these each side. Letting that arm fully hang down to the ground. And same thing on the other side. Hand right underneath my shoulder for support. Keeping my back straight, pulling up to the back. And I'm gonna change out my weights real quick. So I always like to start with a slightly lighter dumbbell and move up to a heavier dumbbell. So I'm easing into that exercise. So now, I'm gonna add 10 pounds to the dumbbells And do the same exercises again. So it'll be trying to aim for where you can complete about 10 reps. And that's going to be a good weight for you. Shouldn't be so heavy you can't do more than a couple. Shouldn't be so light that you could do 20, 30 reps without even trying. You want it to be challenging, but not overwhelming. So somewhere around 10 reps is a good number to shoot for. Whew. Taking just a minute because I'm seeing stars a little bit. And I don't want to be holding dumbbells above my head when I'm seeing stars. So I'm giving myself just a couple minutes extra between. There's nothing wrong with taking a few extra moments between sets so that you can let your body recover, your heart rate to come back down. I know for me personally, I'm prone to migraines. And so I have to be mindful of I'm not triggering a migraine as I'm doing things where I'm exerting and thinking about clenching and really pushing against it. I can actually clench down and I start getting a migraine, which really will undermine my whole workout. So rather than trying to power through in a workout, I slow down a little bit so I can keep on going for the full workout. So sometimes you have to go a little slower to go fast later. I'm gonna just take a minute, make sure I'm all good. Do any of you guys have you ever experienced a migraine? If so, what usually triggers it for you? Is it stress? Is it neck tension? How you slept? Sometimes I get them during working out. But I find the more consistently I work out at a level, the less likely they are to show up. So right now I'm kind of pushing myself in working out, so sometimes I'm more prone to migraines and other factors that are outside working out. Going here, hands right over the top of the shoulders, going into a dumbbell bench press. Trying for about 10 reps, all the way down and all the way back up. A lot of people think they need big, heavy weights to build muscle. You can actually do it with moderate weights and just go for higher reps rather than trying to do a 1 rep PR. It actually is more likely to build muscle if you go more than 1 rep. The important part is you want to be challenging that muscle. So that can be between 5 reps and 30 reps. So for me, I try and shoot for moderate weights and somewhere around 10 reps. I tend to push a little bit too hard and go closer to that muscle failure. That actually messed me up last week. I was working on my triceps and pushed too hard where I was overworking that tricep. So that muscle in the back here. And because of that, I missed a workout. So even though I gained more in one workout, I lost a workout at the end of the week. So overall, I gained less. So sometimes it's better to push a little less hard, but more consistently. And that's the biggest thing is what can you do consistently? Not what can you do in one session, but what can you do in 1 week? And I tend to focus a little too much on the one session and I lose some of the exercise I could do in a week because of that. So if that's you I encourage you to actually back off a little bit. You're working a little too hard, but try and do, it's more of a marathon than a sprint. So, I'm gonna do another set of rows. Be like the equivalent of saying, oh, I'm gonna lose 10 pounds in one day. And that's just not physically possible. It's easier to lose 10 pounds over a prolonged period of time, and you're more likely to keep the weight off if you do that. Same thing with working out. You're not gonna build all your muscle in one day. It's gonna be across weeks and months. But it's slow, steady growth that we're looking for with that. So to do that, we want to make sure we can get every workout in the week. For me, it's trying to work out 3 times a week. If I work out too hard on Monday and Wednesday and missed Friday's workout because I'm still sore, I worked out too hard on Monday and Wednesday. So, we want to approach muscle failure, which is approaching that fatigue point, but never hit muscle failure, because that's where we get 90% cost for only like a 10% gain, as opposed to 90% gain for a 10% cost. So, you can decide, what do you want? Do you want to have to pay as little as possible for as much muscle growth as possible, or as much as possible for a very small amount of growth? For me, it took a long time to get over that of feeling like I'm working hard versus actually getting the benefits in my muscle. So I work a little bit less hard in one session to get more out of every session. Actually, when I trained in martial arts, I pushed my body so hard, I actually, when working out, tore a bone in my knee. And that, in trying to push too hard, I actually slowed down my progress by 4 months to let that heal. And to a lesser extent, that's what people can do in their workouts. They push really hard. People sign up for things like boot camps, where they go and it's just awful and difficult, where they've gone well above what their capacity is, and they can either get injured or burn out, and they don't see the growth they want because they burnt out already. But if they were to do a little bit less and do it consistently, that's gonna get them closer to where they want to be in the long term. All right, I've got one more set for upper body, and then we'll move into focusing on biceps. Hit that like button for me if you want to focus on biceps too. If you're looking to build up your arms. I wish I had taken a measurement of my arms before I started specializing into it, because it feels like it's already actually expanded in a very short amount of time. It's amazing to me how noticeable that is. Come on. Hang on one sec. There we go. So I like to start with these on my knees. So as I kick up, it puts it right over the top of my shoulders. And then I can go straight in, feet on the floor, Bringing the hands wide, pressing up towards the ceiling, and then back down to the front of my shoulder. Trying for 10 reps. Moving in as I go down and out as I push up. And relax. Setting one dumbbell to the side, doing a second set of supported rows. Now this is working the lats along the back, as well as the muscles behind the shoulder blades, and a little bit of the bicep. Oh, and same thing on the other side. Going for about 10 reps. And relax. All right, so for the last exercise, I like to finish out with biceps. Now, biceps are the muscle I'm trying to specialize in right now, so I'm adding a lot of extra sets to that muscle. And because muscles grow when you have more volume or more times you're exercising it in a week. So to do that, I'm using preacher curls on Monday and Friday. Try and do between 3 and 5 sets of bicep per workout day. And then on Wednesday, I do a different bicep exercise for 5 sets to try and get as much as I can for bicep in a week to really cause this to grow. So if I was trying to do everything in a week, 5 sets, it'd be too much stress on my whole body. But specializing in on the bicep and just doing a little less on everything else to let the bicep really grow, I've seen a larger amount of growth in that muscle and how fast it changes. So that's why I'm specializing into that. I'm doing a preacher curl. So for this, grabbing a lighter dumbbell. Now I'm doing this with a bench. You could do this with a chair as well. So I'm putting my elbow right on the top of the bench. Then from here, dropping, I'm gonna slide this just a little bit closer to the center of the screen. So, from here, I'm gonna put my elbow right on top of the bench, then drop my hand down, trying to straighten out that elbow, really feeling it on these muscles right in here on the inside of your arm. So going all the way down to where I tap that bench and then come back up. So I'm leaning back away from my arm just a little bit to keep that tension in the bicep. B2 says, hey Gregory, what's up? Hey B2, good to see you. How you been doing? Working on specializing into that bicep. So we're ending our workout with some preacher curls. How have your workouts been going? So now I'm switching to the other side, doing 10 reps on my left arm as well. All good? Oh, very good. Glad they're going well. And I'm just gonna keep on alternating between left arm and right arm till I can't keep on going. Usually that's between 3 and 5 sets. Now, something I'm gonna do is make sure I'm not going too far into fatigue in this, because I want to be able to recover by Wednesday. So if I get to the point where 3 sets, I can barely move, I'm gonna stop at 3 because I want to be able to come back on Wednesday and do this again, work on the bicep again. So even if I might be able to get a little bit more out of one workout, I'm gonna try and maximize my week by doing a little bit less than that to be able to recover in time to work out again on Wednesday. Oh. So that was set number 2. Going for set number 3. How many sets do you guys usually do in your workouts? Do you like doing for a muscle you're trying to build? I find for me, about 3 sets usually is a good point. You know, some people do more than that. Usually the longer you've been working out, the more sets you can do. So if you're just starting out, start with 1 set and see how you feel after that. If you've been doing this for a couple months, try going to 2 sets and you can build it up over time. Find people do too much too fast and then they burn out and they stop. It's much better to do a little less and to be consistent with a little less than it is to do more and be less consistent. I think this is gonna be my last set today because I don't want to overdo it. I want to be able to come back strong on Wednesday. And last set, I think this is set number 4. So we got 4 bicep sets in today. What muscles are you guys trying to specialize in, or would you want to grow faster? For me, it's biceps, but I've heard people say glutes or chest or deltoids in their shoulders, and this muscle up here. What are you guys most interested in growing and getting stronger and larger muscles in? Let me know in the comments. So that was our workout for today. If you like these sort of workouts and want someone to work out with, I work out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 11 a.m. Pacific time. Hope to see you there.